Sure shot, baby!
So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have a former UP Fighting Maroon and a current player of the Blackwater Elite. I'll now welcome Diego Dario to the DVD show. Thank you for joining me here on my podcast.
Thanks, Dario. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you today for this episode.
Yeah, so first off, we're recording this right after the play-in tournament of the Warriors and the Lakers. So, how was the game for you? How did you feel, and which team were you cheering for?
I was rooting for the Warriors actually because I'm a Steph fan, huge Steph fan. Although I know that Lakers was really dominant. It was a great game. Sobrang solid ng game. The Warriors were leading almost all throughout the game. Then I think the greatest adjustment by the Lakers was not putting Drummond or
Yeah.
Montrez in, so they had more spacing. LeBron was able to operate more, even Anthony Davis. So that was a great adjustment. And they were just doubling, triple teaming Steph the whole fourth quarter. So solid, great game, clutch shot by LeBron.
Yeah, I like the game also. I'm also for the Warriors for that game because I love Steph and Clay also. But sayang si LeBron talaga clutch. And yung defense ng Lakers, parang pinakita nila na sila yung best defensive team talaga in the league kasi sila yung number one sa regular season. And pinasok ni Frank Vogel si Wes Matthews and KCP and Caruso. Instead of sila Kuzma and sila Drummond, it changed the complexion of the game. So that's a great coaching adjustment also in my opinion. Yeah, so to start in relation to that game, since it's basketball related, the season also for the 5-on-5 is gonna start. It's gonna resume hopefully soon when the cases continue to go down. So how have you been doing naman in terms of basketball and even also just life at home, even because it's been like a pandemic for over a year already?
Well, it's our jobs to stay in shape. So, syempre, we have to work out as much as we can. So, I invested in buying gym equipment para I get to work out every day. I hired like a personal trainer para, we have a goal, we have a system that we can follow so that we can achieve our goals in terms of like our performance, our conditioning and strength and all that. And then I'm lucky na I have like friends who have courts in their houses. So I would go there to do my skill training with better basketball. I used to train with Aaron before the ECQ and all that. So still lucky na we're able to train even during the pandemic in people's houses. Kasi bawal if we go to mga public courts. So yeah. And then at home, chill lang. I've been teaching kids parang on the side just to since maraming time, I teach kids online through Zoom. Then just chill lang at home. Usually home, bahay training lang.
Oh, okay. Kamusta naman yung pagtuturo mo? Like I saw it on your IG bio yata that yun nga you were teaching kids with sila Jello Vito, I think. I forgot sino pa yung mga iba. Paano nag-start yun and what's your vision and your goals for the long term for it? Because it seems a really great project that you guys did.
Yeah. Actually, I started it 2019. I started a camp. Parang I just wanted to try it out. Parang walang long plans actually for it. I just wanted to try it out. And then medyo maraming sumali. I think it was around 30 to 40 kids. That was before the pandemic. So I started with Jariel Lim and Jello Vito, so my old teammates, and then some of the people in UP Sports Science. Para naman may, we can have inputs when it comes to the proper programming and all that. So it was like a weekend camp, and then maraming pumunta. And then I thought about it. I was like, pwede itong maging long-term thing. And then during the pandemic, I thought na I could teach this online through Zoom. And then it just started off with my little cousins lang. So it wasn't really like a business yet. Started off with my little cousins. They told their teammates. They're from Ateneo, grade school varsity players. And then word came out. Now I have like 20 to 30 now na students every month. And I think it's also fulfilling din na you get to teach kids kasi parang, in terms of experience, I have medyo marami na rin and I would love to help the young kids learn then and get better at basketball. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the athletes that I've talked to also in this podcast, they like that yung nagtuturo sila. Kasi nga, parang magaling ka na or like you're excelling at a level that not any basketball player can just reach at the point of their life. And then you're able to impart it. Malay mo yung isang maturuan mo maging mas magaling pa sa'yo or like maging superstar sa PBA. And you never know, baka pala yung mga strategies mo or yung techniques na tinuturo mo. It could be effective for them. You never know. It could be effective in their own game. Yeah,
that's true. And sobrang fulfilling. It's like I used to be a kid joining these camps as well, trying to learn from, UAAP players, PBA players that I look up to. And then now ako na yung, I'm just giving it back to the sport. Kasi, the sport blessed me with so much. I've been to around the world. I've met so many different people. So I'm just trying to give back to the sport.
Yeah, that's really fun to hear. And I hope the other athletes also, not only the basketball ones, could emulate what you've been doing. Because they have them and the resources and the knowledge, I guess, to do that. Yeah. Yung camp mo ba, is it more of like skills, conditioning? What do you focus on? Or is it all around?
It's all around. So usually we have skills and then we have strength and conditioning because si Jello Vito, he's a graduate of sports science. So yung mga strength and conditioning drills, siya yung nagpo-program. And then I have si Juanito Gregorio, he's the
I know
son
him.
of Coach. Yeah, son of Coach
before.
Alan, cousin of Coach Ryan, nephew of Coach Ryan. And then 3 years, 4 years experience na rin siya coaching kids. So I got him then for the camp. And he's been really helpful. So after that, I also parang focus on mindfulness. I've been into that like a year or two now. I teach the kids just like simple breathing exercises after just for them to recover mga ganun. Something new lang. And then during the camp last year, 2 years ago, when it wasn't online, I parang kind of taught them how to eat properly then. Like I had recovery meals for them after the camp. So something different, not just skills, parang it's a holistic way of developing like basketball players.
Yeah. Juanito kasi he joined like the community of Mix Bustos. Like we talk about basketball like before it was once a week. Tapos sumali rin ako. So we got to talk a couple of times na about NBA and Gilas, everything about basketball.
Ay, sobrang basketball junkie na ni Juanits.
Yun nga, yeah.
He's like my best friend ever since high school.
Yeah. Magaling. Yung mga takes niya, parang he could defend it. Yeah, parang ganun. Kaya I like it also. Yeah. Tapos yung sinasabi mo about how you train the kids, I also like that kasi parang it's unique. It's not like yung mga iba lang na they just do the skills. Parang ikaw pati yung mga recovery meals nga. Kasi nga it's important now. Like nung mga 80s or 90s, they didn't really focus on that. But I'm pretty sure like anyone just eats anything. Pero bata pa lang parang ini-impart mo na sa kanila na dapat alagaan nila yung health nila.
Yeah, that's true. Kasi when I was a kid, parang I was just a regular Filipino, 5'6", 5'7", growing up. I didn't have the athleticism. I wasn't that fast. So parang, how would I get my edge before when I was in high school or college? High school parang I wasn't really eating a lot of chips. I haven't drank soda. And then I would sleep properly, eat the right food. And then apparently it worked for me. I had like a 6-inch growth spurt from first year to second year. And then I was like, in high school, na-realize ko na, nag-work pala if you have discipline, if you do the other things, and not just in basketball. And then, I would just stay consistent with it until, college came, I played with the national team and then the PBA. So I want them to understand that it's not just on the court now you have to, work hard or train. It's also off the court.
Yeah, that's a great lesson for the listeners or the audience because even in the other passion, not necessarily sports, like finding a way to get an edge or an advantage over the people at your level, I guess. Something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So and you also mentioned that you were part of the 3-on-3 squad of Blackwater for the upcoming season. So how has the preparations been? Because maybe people just focus a lot on the 5-on-5. So how have you been with the 3-on-3 and what are the updates, I guess, with the team and the
in terms of schedule, wala pang like concrete schedule in PBA, so they're focusing on the 5-on-5 now. So we don't really have team trainings yet for the 3x3, but personally, I've been training with the 3x3 ball. It's kind of different. Medyo mas maliit yung bola, but same weight. And then I've been training, different din. Mas mahirap 3x3 honestly, because in terms of conditioning, it never stops. So after offense, your defense right away. And it's like 10 minutes of intense like defense then offense, intense basketball talaga. So it's like, for me, it's a different sport. Like, it's basketball, but it's different. Like, wala masyadong up and down. Like, you can't really think a lot because I think the shot clock is like 10, 12 seconds
lang, yeah.
So you really have to make a decision right away, find mga advantages, find mismatches on the court. So it's fun. It's fun. I've been having fun trying to learn it. And yeah, I've been playing then with my other teammates and friends who want to train as well. So.
May update na ba on like sino yung mga teammates mo? Kasi like before sila Jeremiah Gray, they were some of the early ones who said they'd play, and sila Jason Brickman. But like for Blackwater, is there like a concrete lineup now, or it's still moving around?
It's still moving around, wala pa. Kasi parang there's this team that will parang get the franchise of Blackwater. So technically it's still Blackwater, but parang different name, different team. So wala pang final like lineup yet. Even the other teams, I think with Meralco, it's gonna be Brickman palang, like wala pang really like full team for them.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about it na. So baka nga kasi hindi pa finalized yung mga lineups and yung league mismo. So yung 3-on-3 nga, since you mentioned that it's a really different sport from 5-on-5, like it entails a lot of conditioning and I guess IQ, reactiveness kasi nga mabilis lang yung shot clock and tatlo lang kayo, so you need to be versatile then. Have you ever played 3-on-3 before or not yet? It's like it's the first time.
I mean, growing up, I used to play kasi in our old village, half court lang. So we used to play 3-on-3 then. But it's not really the same rules, right? And when we went to Serbia, when I was still part of the of UP, I think that was my last year. We went to Serbia. We practiced 3-on-3 actually, because they're the number 1 3-on-3 country in the world, right? So we really learned a lot. It's actually a great parang prerequisite to 5-on-5 because you learn a lot of reads. Like on 3-on-3, usually in basketball, 2 or 3 players are in the weak side, not really doing anything, just giving space, and then 2-3 players on the strong side, making a lot of action. So basically, good practice din siya for 5-on-5 when it comes to reading the defense, trying to get mismatches and all that. So that I played 3x3 before in Serbia, and it's really different. Even the calls, much physical. Like they don't really call mga touch fouls, like hand check. They really allow that.
Yeah. Like si Anton Asistio, I think when I talked to him or I saw in his interview, like sila ni Jai Reyes, diba, when they were playing 3-on-3.
Yeah,
it's a great
I saw
match.
that.
Yeah, physical talaga eh. Kung hindi ka sanay, mahirapan ka.
Exactly, and if wala kang shooting, like sobrang disadvantage na 3x3.
Yeah, like the first time I watched 3x3 was when sila Kobe ba yun? Sila Jeron Kiefer, 2017 or 2016. I got really surprised. Like you could really win if, I don't know, kung condition ka, tapos yun, may skills ka shooting, yung basic skills lang. You can win against...
Condition is actually sobrang important sa 3x3. Kailangan condition ka talaga.
Yeah. So yun nga eh, yung sinasabi, I heard a lot of interviews na perfect ka nga siguro, in my opinion, for 3x3 kasi you're one of like the most hardworking players daw and conditioned players. And yun nga, you mentioned you were in better basketball earlier part of the interview. So how was that naman since the start of the pandemic? You were like with them. Hindi naman start, pero like nung last year pa yata you were with them. Kumusta naman yung training program with them? And parang, di ba, you were with other basketball athletes also?
Yeah. So basically, better basketball, I started working with them in my last year, in my senior year sa UP. Parang I just wanted to invest. I was like, last year, I'll go all in. I invest na lang in my basketball career, and then whatever happens, happens. So I invested in my skills training, and then he connected me to a nutritionist and then a strength and conditioning coach, just so that the development is holistic. That's parang I kind of advocate I'm kind of an advocate of like holistic development of all aspects, right? So yeah, better basketball really helped me because it's different. Like see Coach Pat, our head coach of Better Basketball, he invested in like training programs of NBA trainers. If you know Drew Hanlon, he's an NBA
I've
trainer
heard.
in the States, right?
Yeah.
So he bought his program. It's kind of
Oh.
expensive, but then he invested in it. And then basically what he's doing with like sila Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, that's what Coach Pat does for us. Same drills, same like principles and all that. And it really helped me. Like crazy. Even ask sila Aaron Black, ask sila Juan GDL Javi. Like it really helps. Really detailed training. And I think he's one of the best trainers here in the Philippines, to be honest, like in terms of game situations, progressing different kinds of drills in basketball.
Is he a type of trainer also that, he changes the drills and the skills that he teaches based on your playing style, like if he sees you in the court or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. He actually also like does a lot of film on the players before he trains them. So he watches the games, he watches ano ba yung mga kailangan i-improve. So it's not really like same drills for all the players. It really depends on what our needs are.
So for you naman, ano yung mga pino-focus niya? Kasi since parang since the start of the pandemic, parang dyan ka nakafocus dahil wala namang leagues or games. What's like the aspect of your game that he wants you to enhance your skills on?
So we watched my highlights in the bubble last year.
Yeah.
So we realized na I can blow by defenders using my speed, my shooting's there. But then I had to learn how to stop or slow down after blowing by. So that's what we're working on. Medyo the mid-range game, medyo slowing down after like a burst of speed so I can read the defense. Because usually what happens, when you're fast, you're more predictable, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're driving, going to the rim, if you're too fast, they know where you're going.
Yeah,
but if you stop and then read, you're gonna be parang medyo mas unpredictable kasi either you can shoot, you can pass, you can float after that stop. So that's what we're working on now. And syempre, the shooting, it's been there naman. I've been consistent with it. And then finishing over bigger guys. So floaters, very detailed talaga, like what we really have to work on. And working on passing as well. Different kinds of reads in the pick and rolls, situations and all that.
Yeah, I like the point that you mentioned about the stopping in a dime, like in the medium range area. Because like that's what, in my opinion, players like Chris Paul or LA Tenorio, that's what makes them effective. Even if they're not young anymore, everyone knows that, but they're still one of the best point guards. And then in the clutch situations, it makes them unstoppable. I guess that in the medium range, the in between game, it makes them unstoppable. You can see them if you watch the games. Of examples of Chris Paul for international, and then LA in the local scene.
Yeah, that's true. Because we also watch films of different players. So yan, sila LA Tenorio, Mark Baroka. We study how they're super effective. And that's how they're effective. They're fast, but they use it, they time it well when they're gonna use their speed, diba? So even Chris Paul, I've been working on his fadeaways. Kasi parang naturally yung jump shot ni Chris Paul may fade if you notice. Like even his mid-range and 3 points, medyo may fade. That's why di siya nabablock. So I've been working on that as well.
Yeah. I think Chris also does that siguro dahil undersized din siya. It's like 6 flat lang eh. Tapos ang lalaki ng mga Americans eh. So he needs that talaga.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, bagay talaga yun sa kanya. So yung next portion, I also asked these to my other guests, is yung upbringing nila or how they grew up even before starting basketball, I believe. Like what were the other activities that you did before basketball, if there were any, or was basketball initially already your first love as a young kid?
It was my first love. Like I think 5 years old, I started playing ball like in our backyard with my older brother. He's like 8 years older than me, 6, 7 years older than me. So I kind of got used to playing against bigger guys. I had to parang I didn't really see it as a disadvantage kasi siya lang kalaro ko that time eh. Wala pang teams, wala pang camps. And then eventually my dad parang introduced me to a lot of camps like Milo Best, Ateneo basketball schools and all that. And then I just fell in love with it. Every day I used to train with my dad and we used to join a lot of camps. And then I love the fact that you can get better. Like, let's say me, when I was a kid, I didn't know how to like dribble with the left. When I could dribble with the left, parang I was like, wow, like you can do that. You can actually learn a lot of things in basketball. So parang it just became a process na parang, oh, I can do a between the legs or I can do a behind the back. Like, and then I just fell in love with that process na parang, oh, I can do a 3-point shot. Oh, I can do 5 straight 3-point shots. Like, it just keeps on like building up like what you can do in basketball. So the improvement really never stops. And then when I think it was like grade 2, I started playing organized basketball, like with referees, with plays, with coaches, and all that. But then I came from a small school, so I came from Community of Learners. It's a private school, non-traditional, super small school. And then we used to play against like the big schools, Ateneo, LaSalle, Xavier, and we would lose like 60 points, 50.
I can relate. I used to be in Montessori also in Merville. Ganun din kami kasi we're a
Right?
small school. Yeah.
Yeah. So parang I was kind of like quote unquote the star, but you would always lose like 40, 50 points. So as a young kid, I was like, how do I get to that level and all that? So that parang as a young kid, my parents really taught me na parang it doesn't mean that if you lose now, you're gonna lose forever. Ganyan. If you work hard, you'll parang get to their level, you'll be able to compete against them. And at a young age, I learned that. So parang I just wanted to get better at the sport. And then eventually I had the opportunity to try out for the UP team, UPIS juniors team. And then I got in, not because of basketball, because I passed the test. So
Good
so
example din.
yeah, I was a small like 5'1" kid. I
Oh.
was decent. I was actually like enough to get into the lineup. But I was so small, 5'1". So if I didn't pass the test, I think di ako makukuha for that tryout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I luckily I passed the test, and then the coaches were like, "Oh, matalino naman siya. He's part of the UPIS community." So they parang welcomed me to the team. But unfortunately, in my first year, I got cut, so I didn't play in my first year. And then when I found out that I got cut, I really cried because parang that was my dream to play for the UAP. And then fourth year, si Kiefer noon, I wanted to play against him. He was like my idol growing up. And then, yeah, parang I remember that night when I got cut, I stayed in the gym. I think our training ended at around 8. I didn't go home until like 10, 11. Our driver parang gave up on me na. Umuwi na siya. Umuwi na siya kasi I didn't want to go home. So my dad picked me up. And then that night, my dad was like, "Oh, why are you crying? Like, why didn't you go home?" I was like, "Dad, they cut me. I didn't get into the team." And then he told me parang, don't give them any reason next year. So you just work hard, get your head up. Next year, don't give them any reason to not get you. And then that kind of stuck to me. I listened to my parents. I was parang mabait naman na kid. So I listened to them. So from that day on, that's where it started. I eat healthy. I didn't eat chips for that whole year. I didn't drink soda for that whole year. I got my 8-9 hours of sleep every night because I wanted to grow tall. I was 5'1", right? And then before classes, I would run around UP almost like 3 to 4 times a week. And then I wasn't allowed to train with the Team A guys. So after classes, I would go to the CHK gym where they train, and I would go up against college students. Not really the players, just the students around there. Yun ang mga naglalaro lang. So as a high school kid, I would go up against college people na way bigger than me, and then I used to train with my dad then. So imagine there are 2 courts. On the first court, that's where they're training, and then me on the second court, I'm like training with other guys and all that. And then luckily, I was just super consistent with it. Twice a day, I would train and all that. I grew like 6 inches in a year. Growth spurt talaga. So from 5'1", I grew to 5'7". And then the tryouts came. And then boom, like my skills were there now when I was 5'1". But I grew. So they were like, "Oh, you can be a legit point guard now." I got into the team. Yeah, and I was able to defend players na since I was a little taller. And then I just continued the grind. Like, I just continued getting better from that point on. Joined a lot of like mga barangay leagues kasi that really helped me with my confidence. And then there, my numbers came up. I got an invite to the national team after that. I got into, parang we were like 300 in the tryout. I got into the last cut, top 12. That's with sila Nietos, the Nietos, Escoto, Jolo Mendoza, and all that.
Yeah,
So,
I remember that.
parang it was a crazy run. It wasn't even in my head na parang I want to be in the national team or I want to be the star of the team. But I just, day by day, I just wanted to get better. And then eventually, those habits parang really helped me become a better player.
Yeah. Anong year pala yung unang nakat ka? Was that what? Second year? Yung sinasabi mo yung first year, yun yung naglalaro ka pa ng gabi? Yun.
Yeah.
Oh,
First
okay.
year.
And then next year, you made it na?
Next year, I made it, yeah. But like, hindi pa ganun kaaning contributions. But there were like games na I would like score 15, ganun, like against big teams like Zobel and all that. And then the next year, we changed coaches. Coach Alan ang naging coach, Alan Gregory, the dad of Juanitz. He gave me all the confidence, all the green light. And then there, from that point on, my career just flourished. Like 30 minutes per game ako sa kanya. So I'm really grateful for him. I averaged, I think my third year by around 15 a game. My fourth year, I led the league in scoring, 21 yata per game. And then that was, luckily, I was able to parang get the attention of scouts for the national team and for college. So, yeah. Grateful ako kay Coach Alan.
Oh, it's a really great, kasi yung basketball din, it's a matter of opportunities. Like, there are others that really don't succeed because they don't get the opportunity. Or, isa lang yung opportunity na binigay, tapos nung binigay, hindi sila nag-deliver. So, for you, I think that's a great lesson for people that when the opportunity comes, they should really take advantage because it's gonna bring you to greater heights.
That's true.
Yeah. So how about the mentality? Yung na-interest ako, yung you always said na bata pa lang, parang whenever you make a 3, you're happy that you make 5 in a row, 10 in a row. Parang it's always an accomplishment for you. Pero hindi ka parang makokontento na yun lang. You always want to do something better in every skill in the basketball. So was that from your dad or your brother or sa'yo lang talaga mismo na ganun yung mentality or attitude?
Parang, I think it was just me always going up against bigger people, like older people, bigger people all the time. Like growing up, I used to play with my older brother. And then in our village, I played against like 20, 30-year-old people when I was, 13, 14. And then a lot of YouTube, bro. Like medyo YouTube addict ako. So I used to watch mga Kobe videos, mga Michael Jordan. And then from that point pala, konti pa lang mga videos nun, memorize ko pa yung mga videos nun. Na parang, paulit-ulit lang. Parang they were always like, parang, don't settle, mga stuff like that and all that. And then my third year, high school, I got this book from Tim Grover. It's the trainer of Michael Jordan. I got his book, Relentless. And that, yung mindset ko from that point on really changed. Na parang, that's how Kobe thought. That's how Michael Jordan's mindset was. Parang just to never settle. Like after achieving something, there's always something next. Parang it never stops. So yeah, mga things like that really inspired me. Little things like that.
Yeah, I feel others can also learn na pag if you find your niche or the stuff you're really passionate about, you can really give you say you invest your time, your effort, even your money to it. I guess that's a great lesson also that, yung hard work that will eventually reap its rewards, like what's happening with you. So that's also good for the people to learn and know about you. Yeah, so yung national team, you mentioned that it was a 300 players yata na tryout and you eventually made it to the final cut. How was the whole experience naman with the youth program? Yun?
Yeah.
What year was that, Gwen?
That was, I think, 2013. Yeah, 2013.
Kamusta naman yung whole experience? Kasi not everyone nga has the opportunity to go through that experience.
So I got invited by the Ateneo coach at the time was Coach Joe Silva.
Oh yeah.
Kasi I used to have solid games against Ateneo. So I think,
Kaya pala, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why in-invite niya ako. And then when I got there to try out, ang dami. So I was like, there's no way, like, I would actually like get this. So parang I was just, sabi ko, have fun na lang. I would just do whatever I can to do to, parang kind of impress the coaches because that's what they really parang look at naman. And then I think they knew na rin na how my stats were in high school, so parang they kind of have an idea of who I am. And then the first day, I was like, kakapalan ko yung mukha ko. Like, whatever the coaches want me to do, I'll do it. So the first huddle, the coaches were like, isang volunteer. I raised my hand. Ako yung una. Like, sabi ko, bahala na. No one was raising their hands. I was like, ako na. And then he was Coach Jamaic. He was like, okay, lead the national anthem. What kala ko, warm up or whatever. So I really had to sing. Imagine we were in ultra, silent like gym. And then I had to start singing like, bye, and all
Ikaw
that.
lang mag-isa.
Yeah, my voice was trembling. Because imagine 200 people with you and then you're trying to sing, right? But then, eventually, I think that's one of the reasons why I got the attention of the coaches. And then I had a good first day that day. Then naging consistent ako. I didn't miss a lot of practices. I was really attentive. I listened to the coaches, and then eventually I got into the team. But I feel like good lesson din yun for the people hearing na, just like do it. Like you'll never know when the opportunity will come. So I just raised my hand, diba? Like I think if I didn't do that, they wouldn't even notice me. Like that small kid, diba?
Yeah, then yung mga ganun, yung opportunities like, yun nga, kala mo drill or may papa-explain ka something, pero yun pala, it's not related to like basketball, pero since nag-yes ka na, wala, nandun ka na, so you just deliver and you do it, kaya mo naman so kahit nakakakaba.
Yeah, nakakakaba kasi you have to sing, diba, in front of like these people.
Yeah. How about the experience?
It was a fun experience.
Yeah, the playing with the talented other high school players at the time, like the Nietos and what did you learn from them and the other coaches that you were able to bring also with your UP college team and even your TBA stint?
It was a different experience kasi in UP I was the go-to guy. So the ball was like, my usage rate was so high in high school. Like most of the time the ball was mine. But in the national team, lahat na magaling. So everyone could create, everyone can shoot. So my role kind of parang nag-iba na. I was more of a creator for our shooters, sila Jolo Mendoza, Jolo Go, your Lasal din siya, diba? And then, what else? Parang I focused on my defense and my leadership and all that. So it was a great experience. Parang actually being in a team where it was so, we were really, our chemistry was really solid that time. Also because of Mike Nieto. Grabe yung experience ko with Mike. He's such a parang born leader. Grabe.
Yeah,
imagine at that age, 15, 16 years old pa lang kami. He would like call up team meetings. He would talk to us one-on-one. Like he would text us, remind us and all that. So parang grabe yung experience ko with Mike. Parang for me, grabe, I could learn a lot from this guy in terms of leadership. Medyo dinala ko na rin sa EPIS yun. Leading a team, doing everything to win and all that. So, yeah. And kay Coach Jamaic, dami ko natutunan kay Coach Jamaic. Such a passionate guy. Really wants all-out effort every time. So, I try to bring that to my team in UPIS as well. Ang dami ko natutunan. I think my development that time was my biggest development because I used to go up against the best of the best every day, like with sila Nieto, Lorenzo Navarro, and all that. So great experience, and going up against different countries, that was great. Then we played against USA pa nga, Jason Tatum.
I remember, they were talking about it in Mikey Reyes, one of his episodes. They were like, si Tatum, parang tinambakan kayo ng 60. I think it's done with Paul Dario. They were talking about it.
So that was a great experience. Grabe yun. Parang, we didn't even know that Tatum was going to be an NBA player, diba? Pero, it's a really great experience. When we got there, sabi ni Coach Mike, okay, for sure, these guys will be NBA players. Just give out your all, have fun inside the court.
Yeah, at least you got a chance. Not everyone can say they played against Jason Tatum.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And actually, no FIBA World na yun, batchmate din namin, si Jamal Murray. Like, no one noticed him that time. Like no one was taking pictures with him. Everyone was in the USA team, but Jamal was there, and solid then. I just remembered now.
Yeah, kasi even nung entering the draft, he wasn't highly touted, I believe.
Yeah,
Kaya, lalo na there, hindi talaga siya masyadong
Yeah.
papansinin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, nung moving on to your college career, since nga sa UPIS star player ka, were you like heavily recruited entering college? And did you consider other schools, or you were already set on going to UP since you were in UP for high school already?
There were a lot of schools who parang contacted me and my family, but my mom really wanted me to have like solid education for college. So it was either the big four lang, like Ateneo, LaSalle, UP, or UST. Because my mom really wanted me to finish, and my mom really wanted me to have solid education. Para, I have a fallback after basketball.
For sure.
So I trained with Ateneo actually for 2 months. I
Wow.
think around 1 to 2 months. And it was Coach Bo.
Oh.
Coach Bo pa yung head coach nun. So,
Yeah, ironic.
I passed the asset. Luckily, I passed the asset. So parang they were like, oh, pwede na to. Kunin na natin. Kasi like, wala namang problem with academics and all that. But then, parang I was really at home with UP that time. I knew where the court was. I knew how enrollment was. I knew how like the grading system was in UP. I knew the coaches. I already knew the players in the college team. And then both of my parents studied in UP. My siblings went to UP, two in Ateneo. Pero parang I was at home na in UP kasi I really felt comfortable even though medyo talonan kami at that time. Parang I accepted it as a challenge na parang, sige, I'll try it out in this school.
Yeah, that's a great also lesson for others na education is really important because you never know what could happen in your sport or athlete career. Like yun nga yung high school pa lang you mentioned sa UPIS, parang pumasa ka, it like helped you get into the team, and then now in college also, diba? You made sure to also prioritize the education even if star player ka na sa high school ng UPIS. Diba? So yung magandang pag-usapan is yun nga, you mentioned na talunin yung UP ng time na yun. You guys were in the bottom of the bracket almost every year, but you still decided to go to that team. And they talked about in yun nga yung episode ni Mikey with Paul Desiderio that it was really tough. Like you don't need to delve deeper about it, but then madami kayong coaches daw. Like it was hard because sila Joe Ward, I think, and then Coach Ricky Dandan. It was hard for you guys to adjust. How was the experience ng mga first 2 years, yung bago yung atin to with sila Paul and Bright and all the other good players? How was that whole, how tough was it for you? Did you ever like consider quitting na kasi puro talo, mga ganun?
Yeah, actually nagulat ako, medyo culture shock to nung first time. Kasi my first practice with UP, I was so early, parang an hour and a half. I was there to do extra work. I had my own ball kasi they don't open the ball rack until like 30 minutes before the practice. So parang at the time, I was like, if the culture is like this, wala pang tao, it was just me, an hour and a half. I waited until mga 30 minutes, wala pa rin tao, like konti lang yung mga tao, mga ibang tryouts lang, ibang rookies. And then some of the players actually like came in 15 minutes before the time. So wala masyado nag-extra work. And then after training, they would get all the balls right away. So no one would really want to do extra work. So it was just me, kami nila Paul, nila Jello, Jarrell, who wanted to do extra work. And then we were like, parang isip namin, we really have to parang kind of change the culture one by one now. We have to show, every time there are new players coming in, we have to show na yung culture here is like working hard, being early, and like staying after. And then, pero it was so hard kasi the court, minsan butas-butas pa yung court namin that time. Tapos, when it would rain, may tulo pa yung from the ceiling and all that. So parang, even though na gusto mo mag-work hard, minsan di talaga kaya kasi sobrang basa na ng court or whatever. So, parang the environment really had to fight through it. Na even though the environment was like that, walang food after practice, parang you still have to like keep pushing through. And then luckily, when Coach Bo came in, support started coming in. We had food, we had new shoes, we had a new court, and then eventually, good players started coming in as well.
Yeah, kamusta naman yung adjustment for you? Because Aaron also attested to it like the last time na halos similar yung collegiate careers niyo. Like nung first few years, kayo yung babad, kayo yung mas maraming touches, yun siguro mataas din yung usage rate. Pero nung latter part, medyo nahirapan kayo kasi biglang nandun na nga yung ibang players. Like maybe for you guys, you had Paul, Bright, Juan, Javi, even yung latter na nung nasa PBA ka na, diba? Richie and Kobe were there. How was it? How difficult was it for you as a, I guess, as point guard, and also I think you adjusted to the role in the latter part of your career. You were like a 3-point shooter in the corner. Like that.
Yeah. So my first 2 years, I think I averaged around 9-10 points per game, which is not bad for a rookie.
Yeah, that's good for you up.
Sophomore, diba? Especially you up. Usually you up average 13, 14. That's good na.
Yeah.
So I averaged that time 10 and 3 assists probably. So I was thinking, parang I'll keep on improving as my college years go by. And then what happened? Coach Bo came in. He had some recruits in June. And the way Coach Bo parang plays is medyo parang free flowing, shoot when you're open, and then he has a go-to guy. So nothing wrong with that. Like I respect that kind of system. And then it was my first year, the go-to guy was parang, I think it was Jet Manuel was the go-to guy. So at first I had a hard time adjusting kasi point guard, medyo scoring point guard ako at the time.
Oh, okay.
So in yung mga summer leagues, I would try to look for my shot and all that. But then I kind of learned na, okay, if the system's like that, I have to set up sila Paul, sila Jet. So hard for me to adjust. I had a hard time adjusting kasi naturally I would look for scoring, right? So sometimes I would turn the ball over a lot of times that time. So it was on me then trying to learn how to play that way. And then fourth year, Jet graduated. The off season actually, parang I was kind of the go-to guy that time. Like I had a great off season. But then June came in the next year. Medyo tight sila ni Paul and they really knew how to play with each other. And then he was Coach Bo's recruit. So medyo parang he leaned towards him and nothing against him naman. Like he was a great player. He was a great leader for us. So me, as a medyo senior na ako at the time, 4th year, 5th year, I had to accept the role, had to find the role in the team. And that was off the bench. I was like, parang every time I came in, I would have energy off the bench, I would defend. And then I had to work on my 3-point shooting. Kasi at the time, usage rate, lahat ng bola usually kala Paul, kala Juan, right? So me, I had to find my own way to contribute. And that was through shooting. My first 2 years, I was like more of a slasher, mid-range guy. Wasn't really consistent 3-point shooting. Pero nung 4th year, 5th year ko, I had to work on it. Yun nga with Coach Pat. We really worked on my form, really worked on 3-point shooting. And I was really consistent. My 5th year, I think I was number 2 in 3-point percentage.
Wow, that's really great. Yeah.
I think I was like 48% or something.
Oh, mataas.
So it really parang paid off yung hard work ko. And I think it was a blessing in disguise then na my role was like that. Kasi parang I had to adjust and then coming to the PBA, my role was kind of the same na off the bench, energy, whatever, how long yung minutes mo, just have positive contribution. So blessing in disguise then, I think everything happens for a reason talaga. And I'm just blessed na parang it all happened.
Was it hard for you talaga? Kasi yun nga, sila Paul were like high usage players, sila June. Or talagang was it easy for you to accept? Kasi syempre sa court, para makikita mo na parang it was okay for you dahil you were still flourishing in a different role. Pero outside outside the cameras, behind the scenes, was it tough for you individually?
It was really tough kasi parang at the time, syempre naturally I wanted some touches, playing time and all that. So there was actually a time na parang I wanted to sit out or either like transfer ganun kasi parang I really wanted a different role, different opportunity. And luckily, parang I met Coach Pat sa Better Basketball. And then in the app, meron siyang app na binili. Same thing with Coach Drew Hanley. They were talking about parang the mental, how you're gonna think, mga meditation and all that. and trying to just control the things that we can. And that really helped me kasi so what can I control at that time? I can control what Coach Mo thinks of me. I can control what my teammates think of me. The only thing I can control is my work, my contributions on the court, if I'm a good teammate on the bench and all that. So those little things really helped me parang cope with that difficulty of accepting. But at the end of the day, parang it is what it is. Like what happens to you, there's a reason. You just have to accept it. And parang it's an opportunity for you to grow and learn, no matter what happens to you. And yung mindset na yan really helped me during that tough time. And of course, my family was there to support. My girlfriend was there to support, and even my batchmates, Jello, Dario, they really supported me at the time.
Yeah, that's really terrific that there's this great support system that you could go to even if it's like tough or yun nga, parang sad ka and you know, you need someone to talk to lang or like say your thoughts or impart to them what you're feeling. And I think it's a really great way that you also have people like that in order to help you cope with whatever's happening.
That's true.
Yeah. So yung year nung atin to, you mentioned also that yung support ng alumni really grew and there I think yun nga you got food, you got shoes and yung court na ayos na. So can you explain also gaano ka critical yung support na binigay na rin sa inyo nung time na yun and how it changed in terms of how it hindi naman changed but how it helped or aided with your performance also as a team?
Sobrang crucial yun kasi what that did was we just focused on playing basketball. We didn't have to focus on all the other extra stuff. So when Coach Bo came in, a lot of alumni support came in. We had trainings abroad. We had a lot of leagues in the summer. We had food. We had Gatorade in practice. Little things like that. We had a nice court. We didn't train now with where the volleyball was or where other sports were. So medyo maingay when we used to train there. When we had our own court, we were more focused. We were able to focus on what we wanted to do during practice and all that. So that was really different experience, especially us na na-experience namin from really bottom and then started growing yung support and all the facilities in UP. So we're just really grateful syempre sa alumni, Nowhere to Go But Up Foundation, all the supporters, the Ma'am Rubina, they were there even when we were losing. Yeah, so all the alumni, we're really grateful for them, syempre.
How about the moment that propelled you guys to yung success nga and now getting all the really great recruits? Kasi a lot of the UP players, maybe you can agree with them that they were talking about the UE game, like when Coach Bo said he'd resign and during halftime if you guys don't give your all-out effort, I think, or something, because you guys came back from 15 or 16 down in the second half. So for you, was it also that moment or was there something else that happened maybe off the court that propelled you guys to that success?
That was really a turning point yung game na yun, actually. Halftime, Coach Bo said, if matalo tayo dito, re-resign na ako, mag-resign na ako. And that was actually my breakout game that season then.
Oh, okay.
I think I was player of the game with C1, parang co-player of the game. So it was Coach Ricky who coached, and then he gave me time in the fourth quarter. He gave me time in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And then I think I hit 3 threes plus like 1 layup. And it was all from one's assist.
Madami na yun.
All of that were from ones. So parang my breakout game, all the energy was there. This was one's first triple-double, historical triple-double that game. And then parang nabuhay yung crowd. We came back from down 14-15. So it was really a great experience. And then I think medyo na-realize ng coaches na one can play off the bench. Kasi he played well with us, with me. Kasi syempre, he played in high school. One was really a great creator, not just for himself, but also for other teammates. And then from that point on, parang we started winning a lot of games in the second round.
Yeah, so yung team na yun, what made you succeed also? Was it like your chemistry as a team? Because like people weren't aware of some of your players. Like maybe one, Bright, you, Paul. Pero yung iba hindi nila masyado pang kilala. Doon lang nakilala season na yun and then the following years. So what was the key ingredient do you think about the team? Was it like your bonding, maybe chemistry?
Yeah, grabe chemistry namin. I think it started in summer pa, nag-Serbia kami, dami namin mga bonding times. We would hang out even off the court. Pero I think it's really our chemistry and accepting our roles. Parang that year, my role was, come off the bench, try to have energy off the bench. One's role was really to parang run the team, to create for the team. But then when it comes to crunch time, everyone accepted it na it was Paul's time, na ball goes to Paul in the fourth quarter. So I think that's really crucial. Tapos sila Jello Vito, very vocal leader. No matter how many minutes he plays, he was always vocal on the bench. He would parang bring everyone together, huddle up together, even halftime during timeouts and all that. And then sila Pio Longa, grabe energy with like off the bench and even in practice, like he would like go all out, save like mga outside balls, he would dive and all that. So parang mga things like that. And then practice, we really competed like crazy. Like me and June, we would go at it like super in practice. Jerson and Bright, they would like really hit each other in practice. So parang mga things like that, I think it all parang added up into our success that season, even though we didn't win the championship. Pero like, it really added up. Yung chemistry, accepting our different rules.
Yeah, narinig ko nga yung kwento mo sa nung nag-guest ka kay Mikey about the June, yung napunta siya sa hospital or something because of you.
Yeah.
Ikaw yata yung napunta sa hospital.
Ako yung napunta sa hospital.
Ikaw yung napunta sa hospital, yeah. Kasi when they talk about June, siya daw yung pinakamagulang na player sa UP.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why they laugh at him. But then he's smart also kasi hindi siya na eject or something.
Yeah, that's true. Parang natural sa kanya eh. He doesn't have to parang force it. Natural lang sa kanya.
Yeah. That's why I understand if the other opponents, like yung mga kalaban niya, naiinis sa kanya kasi nakikita sa slow-mo or something. Pero pag
exactly.
hindi nakikita. That's a good one. Like, that's a great trait. Like Chris Paul, I think he's also like that.
Parang Chris Paul siya. Parang ganun.
Yeah. So yung UP then, they're also heavily criticized, as you of course know, because of the season nung wala ka na yata ng last year in the PBA na with sila Richie, Kobe, ganun, and even Coach Bo. So for Coach Bo first, how could you say na that people are criticizing him? Like, syempre it's not deserved, but why do you think people criticize him, and what do you think people should see naman na positive about him? And what makes him a great coach? Kasi in the PBA nga, I told my friend that he made Air 21 reach the finals, and he made Powerade reach the finals twice. Hindi ka lang nag-champion, pero at least PBA coach ka na nagpa-finals, tas UAAP, Ateneo, and then UP, medyo Final Four din nung nandun siya. So for you, ano yung sa tingin mo nga yung dahilan kung bakit siya nakikriticize a lot, but what positive aspect of him do you think people should see rin on why he's a great coach?
I think yung criticism ng a lot of people, parang it comes with winning, I guess, or it comes with parang having a great program. Not everyone's gonna love a program naman eh. Syempre, there are always gonna be two sides, especially when a lot of attention is in UP kasi syempre nandiyan na sila Kobe, sila Richie, so parang you can't really please everyone. But the thing is, parang during our time, medyo nagka-criticism na rin with our team. Pero what he always told us was, parang it comes with winning. And they don't know naman what's happening in our practices. They don't know what we're going through and all that. So I think it's just part. I think with athletes, it's part. Personally, I had a lot of like, mga ganun din, mga criticism. I'm sure all the other athletes. But I think that's the reason why parang a lot of criticism go to Coach Bo is like the way he coaches. Because the way he coaches is very free. Parang, if you think you can beat your guy, beat your guy. If you think you can hit that shot, hit it. Like, parang hindi siya masyado X's and O's, and I think inamin naman niya yun. That's why he has Coach Ricky, a lot of good coaches with us, like sila Coach Ronnie to help us with the X's and O's. Pero siya personally, like, he's not that kind of player. He's like more of a dad type to us. Mm-hmm. He's super great at motivating. Off the court, we learn so much from him. Not just in basketball, but also in life. Like, finishing our studies, being a great person off the court, treating people right, and things like that. And syempre, people won't see that. People won't. Coach Bo doesn't have to show to other people na yun yung ginagawa niya. Because that's his passion. That's the way he coaches. And I think if he changes the way he coaches, it won't be real. And parang for me, it's effective kasi nag-finals kami and nag-finals naman yung teams niya sa PBA, right? So I think it's just all part of fitting mga criticism.
Oh. When I interviewed Von nga he was like, when it was Coach Bo, ang saya niya kasi sila ni Kiefer and Chris yata.
Exactly. Nakwento rin ni Von sa akin yan, yeah. Parang he would just shoot every time he can see the ring, parang ganun.
Yeah, it helped Von. I think it helped with his stock also in the national team siya, tapos nag-BBA siya. I think it helped because Coach Bo was his coach in this latter part of his UAP career na nakita siya na pwede siya sa national team. Tsaka yung ngayon, nasa San Miguel na siya and rotation player siya. Yeah, I think that's what really is good with Coach Bo. Like, even on Air 21 days niya, he had Arwin, Gary David, Ranidel. Yeah. That's what makes him really
and
good.
Coach Bo's really a great recruiter, bro. Like, imagine when he came in, dami niyang na-recruit na magagaling na players. So, I think that's his strength. Oh, until now, diba?
Yeah, even now, yung tatlong NU, diba? Pumunta na sa UP.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts naman about that? Do you think it's really gonna help? Because I don't know if Richie's coming back, so Kobe's not coming back, and it parang he said Bright's not coming back rin, or hindi pa sure. But you have D off, I think, as a natural foreign-born athlete on your team. Ano naman yung thoughts mo about the new squad with the 3 NU boys, CJ, Joel Kagulangan, and I don't know, ang daming players eh.
Dami. Well, it's always good to have talent. It's good to have talent in your team kasi, when your X's and O's don't work, when your plays don't work, if you have talent, you can still, get a shot, make baskets and all that. So I think the difference is lang they're going to be a young team. I think CJ is going to be the leader, CJ Cancino, Noah Webb, all that. Pero most of them are going to be young. So for sure, there's going to be a lot of learning curves for sure. I'm sure the coaches are there to guide them. But I think it's going to be a great future for UP because recruiting these rookies, you're set for 3-4 years after. So I think that's good. That's good for the team.
So
I think then for sure they won't get the playing time they got in high school because they have to divide that. They have to divide that all the talent.
Yeah. You mentioned that Coach Bo is a really great recruiter. So ano ba yun? Yung pag kinausap ka niya like kumari Zoom or in real life, magaling siya mag-convince yung mga words na sinasabi niya?
Well, if you listen to him, the way he talks, diba? Sobrang convincing. The way he talks. And I think it's not just like Coach Bo. I think it's the program din of UP na parang kaya din pumupunta yung mga rookies and top recruits sa UP. Kasi, UP's up there na rin when it comes to college programs.
Yeah.
And in terms of, parang resources and all that.
So how about, you mentioned also in previous articles that entering the draft, you had in the PBA na pala yung isa, pero in the PBA stage, you had two really great mentors. It's like Alex Cabagnot and Mike Cortez, I think. And how was the effect of the both of them? Like, how could you distinguish it, and what makes it both special for you?
Coming into the draft, I wasn't sure if I was thinking of parang playing D-League or whatever, parang just honing my skills more just to get ready for the draft. But then I talked to my mentors, sila Coach Alan, sila Coach Bo, Coach Charles Tew, sila Kiefer really told me na parang just do it. Coach Alex Cabanos, like, you played in the biggest stage in the UAAP, why not try it? Like, nothing to lose, right? So I did it, and then I got in, luckily, and then sobrang blessed. But then Coach Alex was also there to parang always guide me when it comes to working hard, just believing in the hard work that he put in. And then in terms of the details, Mike Cortez talaga, like in practice kasi, I would watch him, how he plays, even if he's so effective. So parang I would ask him a lot of questions. I would work out with him after practice. So it's great having that experience with him in his last year. Last year na niya na-play.
Yeah, that's really terrific also. Kasi si Von rin, going back to Von na naman, he mentioned din na si Mike yung nag-guide sa kanya sa global port when he was younger pa. And then I think Ren also, he mentioned Mike also when I interviewed him. Kasi after Ren Retwalos Lasal Bash, it was him kagad with Mac Cardona and Joseph Yo. So it was he's a really great leader that's underrated, I think, because people just like how he plays na chill lang and relaxed and does the small things, does the leadership of the team. Pero yun nga yung mga ganun guiding you guys in practice. Hindi naman nakikita sa camera yan. And what makes him great, I think. That's why you guys, like the young players, idolize him.
Yeah.
So you said draft, you were like yun nga you mentioned in Blackwater, you were a role player also, similar to how you were in UP. So yung adjustment ba with the PBA style of play, how difficult was it for you? Or nasanay ka na nga kasi nga you were like a great spot-up shooter and you like found your niche already and your strength?
I think with the PBA, parang yung difference is reading na lang. Like reading the defense, what the defense is giving you, and because all your teammates are good. So it's not like in college na parang you can get away with your skill, do your skills lang, and then you can make a basket. In the PBA, parang you also do that because that's what you get paid for. But it's more of like reads, scouting, a lot of scouting and all that. So yun lang yung biggest adjustment. When it comes to the speed, it's not really fast in the PBA, not like in the UAAP. I don't really go in that much, so hindi masyado physical. So I think yun lang. And practices are chill, so you really have to do your extra work. Parang if you don't do extra work, baka di ka makondisyon. Or especially if you don't play a lot of minutes in the games.
Yeah, yun nga. Yung practices nga daw ng mga coaches ng PBA, iba daw talaga compared sa amateurs eh.
Yeah.
So yung isa pang part nung maganda about you is yung hard work mo daw. I think si Dario also mentioned nga na you're like the most hardworking player in UP. And also I think Coach Pat nga in the episode with Mikey Reyes, he said na yun nga hardworking ka talaga even if yun nga hindi ka, like June overtook you in the rotation in UP and then in the PVA you don't get as many minutes as you wished for. So how do you continue that mindset pa rin even now? And yun, with Coach Pat, where did that come from? Na ikaw yung pinaka-hardworking talaga, yung disciplined, efficient ka when you go into the game. Kahit 8 minutes ka lang maglalaro, dapat makailang assists ka, ilang points ka, ilang 3 points ka na.
I think it all boils down to the mindset na control what you can. Kasi I can't really control what how long the coaches will put me in, or how long, or what if I'm gonna make the shot or not. But I can control my hard work. I can control the practice. I can control, my attitude towards my teammates, towards the game, towards my coaches. Those are the things that I can control. And it's a waste of time if I try to parang dwell on the things that I can't. Because it's just gonna make me frustrated, right? So I can easily get frustrated with all the things that are happening. Na parang, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. Parang ganun, but that's not gonna do anything for other people. It's not gonna do anything for myself as well. So, but syempre, I think it's the vision. Then I have a vision for myself. I still have hope. Na parang I can be the best player that I can be. The time will come. Like opportunities will come. Because if you don't think that way, I don't think you can live the present moment. Na you'll do everything to get better. Because if you don't have that vision, why are you doing it right now? Why are you working so much? Diba? So I think I still have that vision. I think I can still be the best player that I can be. I just need an opportunity and a chance. So then let's see. We don't know what the future holds.
Yeah, bata ka pa naman, pwede pang magkaroon ng madaming chances. Like I don't know sino yung mga, I can't think of someone off the top of my head. Or maybe si Julius Randle, like in the Knicks. Diba, in the first few years of his career, he wasn't playing good. Talaga, people were criticizing him. His game is like Zach Randolph in the wrong era, ganun. Pero now, look at him. He got the opportunity with Tibbs and he's flourishing. So maybe something similar. I don't know ano pa ba yung mga sa ibang mga examples, pero one of it maybe that.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I just parang control what I can control in the present moment, right? So, yun. Let's see. Baka babalikan ko yung podcast na to when I don't know, I get
Superstar.
succeed in the future pa ako, diba? Babalikan
Yeah.
ko to.
Siyempre, invite kita ulit kung ganun yung mangyayari. Lalo na kung ganun yung mangyayari. Diba? Yeah. So yung next part that I wanted to ask was I also asked these questions to my guests, yung latter part of the podcast. So one of it is, I'm pretty sure you know, because we talked about the NBA earlier, even before we started recording. Before in the bubble, they did yung Black Lives Matter and yung teaching people how to vote, educating people how to vote. Like some of the players nga, they weren't voting. It's like their first time to vote for the elections ng last year. So here in the Philippines naman, people aren't that as vocal. Maybe it's because of like the culture or the upbringing on how we're not as vocal with social issues or political issues. Pero in your opinion, yung athletes then, syempre not everyone's also vocal because I don't know, maybe yung mga mahiyain. Like I've had guests that when they answer these questions, they're educated naman and they're knowledgeable about the issues and the platforms of the candidates for elections ganun. Pero sometimes di sila nag-tweet. Wala lang, it's not their personality. So for you, what do you think is like the impact or the influence of the athletes in terms of yung mga social issues and the elections? Lalo na pa elections na in the next year. And how can the athletes maybe help, amplify the voices of the fans? Because you guys have a lot of followers. So pag may na-post kayo, biglang, sabihin, ganun pala yung issue na yun, kaya pala ganito yung nangyayari, etc. That's what a lot of Filipinos maybe lack or like what they can improve.
I think it's a good way to educate people when athletes speak out. But before you educate people, you have to educate yourself. So you have to do your research. You have to know what's right. You have to know what are facts, what are fake news or whatever. Diba? So and then when you do your research and when you educate yourself, you get to have an idea of what you really believe in as a person, right? And I think if you believe in something, you won't be shy to speak about it. Honestly, like me, if I believe in something, I can just speak out about it like vocally. And even before, I was kind of like outspoken with the things like the terror bill last year. What else? Like a lot of discrimination here in the country and outside the country as well. So I educate myself first, but if I'm not educated, I don't know anything about the topic yet, I don't like talk about it.
Yeah, that's difficult.
So I think parang I see both sides all the time. I don't just see one side, especially like my family is really vocal about these things, especially in government and all that. But parang I learned from them na you have to see both sides all the time, like not just our side. Ask your friends, So I learned that from UP, critical thinking, having the conversation with your friend, that really helps educate a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good learning point also. Kasi sometimes when you believe in something, parang nadadala ka sa emotions mo na hindi ka na makikinig dun sa ibang side or yung other perspective. Kasi baka meron pa silang alam na may matututunan ka from it. Pero, you just don't want to listen. You have a deaf ear. And you never know, it might enhance your knowledge naman eh. So, dapat open-minded ka, I guess, with things like that. And yun nga, yung iba like Filipinos kasi I realize sometimes pag may issue, they'll just tweet it or something, then they'll regret it.
They just talk about it right away, diba? Parang they just say whatever they want.
Yeah, yun yung mahirap eh sometimes. Parang, tapos pag na-bash or something, they'll regret it. Sorry, ganun. Yun yung rin eh. Even in athletes, when they bash you guys, like, kumare, 3 seconds left, kasi ikaw yung nag-shoot, miss. Pag check mo yung Twitter mo, sabihin you're not smart, ganyan, hindi ka nag-isip, whatever. Yun yung...
Number 1 rule yan, after games, don't check your Twitter. Mga few days after na, para walang emotions.
Yeah, you can apply to anything. It's sport, even yun sa politics, ganyan. When something happens, they'll just bash, pero you don't know pala the reason behind it. Same lang naman yun.
Yeah. And parang I realized with Twitter, parang when a lot of people are bashing someone, parang you think it's overwhelming, a lot of people are hating on you. But if you count it, like the accounts that are trying to tweet you, 20 people. If you think about it, 20 people is not that much, but you think you're viral na, diba? So it's important then to like parang distance yourself and like take a look at the big picture, diba?
Yeah. You gotta be smart also in in real life, but also smart in social media and the internet, especially in this generation.
But that's a good thing. I think athletes should speak out more in the things that they believe in, and not just in basketball, but things outside basketball as well.
Yeah, I like it, especially sa George Floyd trial. Di ba na guilty na yung police that knelt on him, and I think the athletes helped a lot with being vocal with it.
And that's what speaking out does, diba? Good things happen when you speak out, parang when you try to right something that's wrong.
Ang dami nga, like yung sa bubble they were discussing na yun na diba they played, people were kind of questioning if they were gonna play. Tapos biglang naglaro sila pero na-postpone ulit when the Bucks didn't play, and then they talked to Obama pa and stuff. It's like, wow, it's so impressive. Like I didn't think that they'd do that in the bubble. Talk to Obama.
Yeah, I think that you just have to make the most out of your platform. Sayang yung platform if you don't like put it into good use, diba?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So for that, ito fun question lang to. I also asked my guests, and maybe if you watch All the Smoke, you know it. They asked their guests at the end, if you have 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, who would you choose? And like it can be anyone, not di kailangan from basketball lang.
Yeah. Sheesh, that's tough. Okay. First, for sure, Kobe. I want to have a conversation.
A lot have said Kobe.
Yeah. I would say Barack, because like I'm a fan. Like I read some of his books, even Michelle's documentary. I saw it there, so I just want to know like what goes on in his mind when he influences and like when he talks and when he tries to change something. I just want to know what's in his mind. And then third, probably go with. I'm not sure if you know Gary Vaynerchuk.
No.
He's on IG. He's like a entrepreneur. And then parang he knows how to use social media well and how to like use his platform. And then he always parang alam niya kung ano yung magiging next na technology that's gonna be up. Like let's say he said na Instagram was gonna be big, Facebook was gonna be big, even if before. So he invested in all of these things.
Na-anticipate lahat.
Na-anticipate niya. He was always right, even with like crypto and all that. So I just want to know how he does it. Like what's his mindset when he does that. 3, 4, probably MJ. 2 goats, Kobe and MJ. And then 5, I'll go with my dad. So my dad passed away in my first year. Siyempre, I want to have a conversation with him again. So that's gonna be my 5 people that I want to talk to and have a conversation with.
Yeah, I like the conversation you had about your dad also. I don't know where you talked about it. Like yung super sad kasi nga, diba, his dream was for you to make it to college ball and stuff. Tapos hindi ka nakita maglaro kahit isang game. Yun din, diba?
Yeah. Parang before my first ever college game, that's when he passed away. So parang that kind of was my motivation then from that point on. Na parang, okay, I know my dad's watching. I know na I can make him proud by just doing the best every time I either work out, every time I play the game. And he used to have a lot of camps then for our village kids. So right now, that's what I'm kind of trying to do then with the teaching kids, trying to influence them to play the sport and have fun with it.
Yeah, it's really tough for you, especially kasi pa-start na yung season nun. Pero at least you took it like in a positive way after a few weeks, and I think it really helped you. Then it shows how you performed at the collegiate stage.
Yeah, that's true. Like I was really like, parang wala nang takot from that point on. Because before I was like, kind of iffy na parang, can I do it in college and all that? Can I like perform? But after that, parang I knew he was with me every time, so it was chill na lang for me.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Great to hear. So your last question, it's also All the Smoke. Yun, they asked them, who do you think I should invite here on the DVD show? Like, it doesn't need to be basketball lang. It can be any sport. Because I tackle athletes across various sports. But yeah, you could give a few names that you think would have a great story as well and would be G to guest here on the podcast.
I'll say Mikey Reyes.
Yeah.
Parang masaya yung episode na yan if he goes here.
Yeah.
Sino po ba?
Kasi Aaron
think-
Black, he suggested you. That's why I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Aaron did na episode. Tapos na.
Yeah, he was like my fourth guest.
Okay. So, yeah. Mikey, Coach Bo, Coach Nash, mga naging coach ko. It's fun to talk to them. They have a lot of ideas, insights. So, sino pa ba pwede? I'd go for mga teammates ko. Paul D.
Okay,
Paul D.
yeah. Yeah, he's fun to talk to. Chill lang eh when he had the one with Mikey. Parang ang
chill
haba ng convo nila and he was able to say a lot of things that maalala.
I could give you a word. Pwede ko naman i-message si Paul for you. Yeah.
Sige, I'll
Diba?
message you na lang when I wanna guest him.
Sige.
So, thank you so much again, Diego, for guesting here on the DVD show. I appreciate the time that you gave. And do you have any last words before you go?
Thanks, Diego. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my career. Sana yung mga nakikinig, try to get a point or two. Hope you got inspired. I just want to inspire, especially the younger generation. I want to inspire them na, if I was able to do it, I think a lot of people can do it. Kasi I'm just a regular, Filipino guy, 5'7", 5'8". A lot of people are my height. A lot of people are, my kind of body, not that strong, not that athletic. But, with hard work, dedication, discipline, and, belief in yourself, I think it goes a long way. And I just wanna parang see the next one. Get into either UAAP or PBA, then coming from a small school. Sana na-inspire yung mga young hoopers or young people who are listening to this show.
Yeah, I believe naman. Like me also, I learned a lot from it. Even if I kind of knew some of it already because of your other interviews. But may mga bagong lessons pa din na matututunan even with this own interview. So thank you again. And before you
Thanks.
go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Yeah, go lang.
Okay. I'll take it na lang from here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think I took it. Thank you so
Alright.
much again, Diego.
Thanks, Diego.
Yeah.
Good luck,
Bye.
Good luck in your podcast. Solid.
Yeah. Sige, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.